What is going on, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, and the question for today's video is, 1, what do you think is going to be next for the Fallout franchise in terms of new games, new content, etc.? And 2, what do you think should be next with the Fallout franchise if you had your way? Let me know in the comments below. E3 2017 was very interesting for Bethesda this year. It was a press conference that I completely knew that we wouldn't see anything about Fallout. I mean, anything big about Fallout, anything new that we really hadn't seen. Yeah, we had Creation Club, yeah, we had Fallout 4 VR and things like that, but of course I'm more talking about a new Fallout game of some sort. I knew we weren't going to get that. It's just way too early in that regard. Whether it's a new Fallout game by Bethesda Game Studios or even a third-party developer or in-house developer within Bethesda, it was just way too early. However, that doesn't mean I wasn't disappointed, right? I mean, I'm a huge Fallout fan. Arguably, Fallout is my most treasured franchise of all time. And it kind of sucks, one, that we didn't see anything new with regards to Fallout. I mean, even massive DLC or something that's not just Creation Club. But it's kind of disheartening to know that because of the projects BGS has on hand, Bethesda Game Studios that is, that we probably won't see another Fallout game from them for another 9 to 10 years. And why do I say that? I keep referring to that number. I made a video in the past, I'll link it in the description below, where I essentially looked at BGS's past track record with developing games, and I made the estimation that if they're the only ones that's going to be creating Fallout games for the future, then we won't see another Fallout game for another 10 years. And the reason for that is that because, one, they're likely working on a new IP at the moment, they're working on Starfield, and then they got to move on to Elder Scrolls 6 eventually, so then only really after that can they move back onto Fallout. And we've heard several times from Bethesda, and Pete Hines in particular, that they haven't even started development on Elder Scrolls 6. So who knows when they're going to start development on Fallout 5, and who knows when that's going to be coming out. Again, I'm guessing like 9, 10 years, whatever it is. So that's why in that video as well, I also pushed for the fact that I'd like to see the Fallout franchise and the Fallout IP be pushed off to another developer in the meantime, because as a big fan of Fallout, I just want to see another Fallout game. And I don't necessarily care which developer is creating this game. I just want to see it. And I guess, for me personally, that is what should be next for Fallout fans, because Creation Club, fine, we get more content for Fallout 4, that's great. I don't even know if that applies to Fallout 3 or New Vegas or whatever, but I really think that the next thing that we need to look forward to is not necessarily a Fallout game from BGS, again, it's going to take too long, but a Fallout game from a third-party developer. I don't want to go 10 years without having a new Fallout game. I really don't. I mean, I'm such a big fan of the franchise, and I want to see it bounce back from Fallout 4 because it's a very polarizing game. You know, whatever your personal thoughts are, it is a polarizing game. There's a lot of disagreement, especially in the community, in the Fallout community. But I do want to see the Fallout franchise bounce back from that. I want to see the community vibing again. I want to see everyone get hyped and excited and actually collectively enjoy a Fallout game, not really like Fallout 4, even though I enjoyed it. But I think that's the next step that really needs to be happening in the Fallout franchise. And my suggestion, and I'm sure many other people's suggestion, is to have a studio like Obsidian work on another Fallout. That's not even necessarily saying that I think, you know, New Vegas is the most perfect game in the world and it beats out every other Fallout game, because personally and because of huge nostalgic reasons, I admit that Fallout 3 is my personal favorite, but I absolutely adored New Vegas, and I've said this on numerous occasions that it probably had the best story and the best writing out of any other Fallout game that I've played. Maybe Fallout 1 comes close in that regard, but I just want to see another studio work on Fallout, and they've done one before. They've done a great Fallout game, it's loved by the fans, and with the right marketing and with the right advertisements and all of that kind of stuff and promotion, a new Fallout game that's similar to New Vegas is probably going to be selling, maybe not as well as Fallout 4, it's just the inherent nature of things, you know, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout 5, those are going to be the games that sell better than the shoot-offs like Fallout New Vegas, but I still think it'll sell pretty well. I don't necessarily think that Fallout 4 is doing well because it's quote-unquote dumbed down. Right? I mean, obviously Bethesda made a lot of design choices in that game that kind of toned down the RPG elements and introduced a voiced protagonist and things like that. But really, I personally think that game sold as well as it did because Bethesda marketed the shit out of it, and I think they marketed that game better than any other Fallout game that they've ever done. That, in my opinion, is why the game sold well. And I think you can do that again if an Obsidian were to work on Fallout. But even if Obsidian is busy, because they are busy, they're working on Pathfinder, they're working on Pillars of Eternity and stuff like that. So even if Bethesda can't get them on board, if they wanted to, that is, then they could still palm it off to someone else. I don't necessarily care, so long as they have a relatively good track record. I mean, what's Arcane doing now? Arcane finished up Prey, essentially. I'm assuming there'll be DLC. They're almost about to release the new Dishonored 2 expansion, and if it's similar to Wolfenstein, like the Old Blood, we probably won't see anything more related to Dishonored 2 ever. Right? If they stop that Old Blood, then Bethesda's probably going to want to stop at this new Dishonored 2 expansion. So after that, what's Arcane doing? I mean, have Arcane work on a new Fallout game. Why not? They're in-house. You can control the development. BGS can keep a somewhat close eye on them. I think that could be a good solution if Obsidian is busy. There are so many other developers that I think you can get on board. Again, so long as they have a good track record, I don't necessarily care. I'd rather have that than no Fallout game at all. I mean, I guess it's a double-edged sword because I want to see the franchise bounce back from Fallout 4, and if you give it to an average developer, that might not happen. We might get another average Fallout game in some people's eyes anyways, but I think it's worth a shot. I really do. So that's what I think should be next for the Fallout franchise, and unfortunately, you know, I'm very well aware that even if Bethesda today got on board a new developer to work on the next Fallout game, we wouldn't see it for 4 or 5, whatever years, but it's better than 10 years, right? I only hope, and I don't know whether this is actually true, but I only hope that they have started the process and that they are looking at, or have already looked at a developer or possible developers to work on another Fallout game. And if they haven't, that's unfortunate, man. I mean, I know people have been saying, well, Bethesda has expanded and they have Bethesda Montreal. They can do another Fallout game, but right now, Bethesda Montreal seems to be focusing on the side projects that BGS proper aren't doing. I'm assuming that BGS proper is working predominantly on Starfield, and then you got the VR projects, and then you got the Fallout Shelter-ish projects and stuff like that. Could Bethesda Montreal eventually want to do their own main Bethesda Fallout game? I think that would be awesome. I think that would be great. Again, another developer that we could get a proper Fallout game from. And BGS could still have some sort of creative control in that regard, if that's what they want. Because I know I'm rambling here, I don't care, I just wanted to talk about Fallout. I know there's been kind of talkings in the community that the only reason why no one else has started to work on another Fallout game is because Bethesda Game Studios only wants themselves to work on another Fallout game. Whether that's true or not, who really knows? But if that is the case, then it might be a compromise to get the Montreal branch to work on it, because Todd and the team can still keep somewhat of a close guard of the Fallout franchise and at least steer it in the direction that they wanted to. I'd like to see it to go in a different direction, to be honest. I mean, I liked going from a game like Fallout 3 to New Vegas. That was pretty different. Even though, again, Fallout 3 was my favorite, Fallout New Vegas was still different, and that's why I enjoyed it in comparison to Fallout 3. And then when you play Fallout 4, which again kind of went back to Fallout 3, kind of made some bigger changes, I wouldn't mind seeing another Fallout New Vegas-ish kind of Fallout game. So anyways, that's what I think should be next for the Fallout franchise. What do I think is actually next? We're probably going to be sitting in limbo and getting small, mobile games and stuff like that, and mods, etc. Unfortunately, but that's probably the reality. Anyways, Sanders, let me know what you think. What do you think is next for the Fallout franchise? And what do you think should be next for the Fallout franchise? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself. And would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.